Hey guys, so today I wanted to speak about friends who used me and treated me like an object because it made me very depressed and suicidal for a long time because I felt like I didn't deserve friends, I just couldn't make the right friends. I think my main experiences was when I first started my first year of university, I really did not want to make friends, but this guy insisted to be my friend and I helped him out with the coursework during that class session, but it didn't take me a long time to realize, but I was always helping him with his coursework, giving him advice, pointing him in the right direction non-stop, and that's the only time he texted me for. And then there was another guy I met at uni during a classroom session, and all three of us were hanging out constantly for around 1.5 years. So whenever I text them on WhatsApp, I'd call them sometimes, I'd ask them how they're doing, what's up, how's work going, blah, blah, blah. But whenever they text me, they say, hey, how are you? And right after that, they say, do you have the answers for this? Or how do you do this? How do you answer this specific question? And I was always happy to help because people always saw me as the smart individual. So I thought I was doing a good deed by helping people all the time, helping my friends who I thought were my friends, but they really weren't. They were really fake. But that's what happened for a very long time. They just used me whenever they needed help with something. They never cared about me, my mental health. Whenever I've tried to have a convo, they wouldn't really seem interested at all. They wouldn't ask me how I was the next day. It was as if I never even told them anything in the first place. So yeah, that made me, when I realized that I was just getting used and I wasn't really happy in the friendship, I left and I just ghosted them, and then they just left me alone after that. But that made me very depressed and suicidal for a long time. I hated myself. I had no self-respect for myself. I was like someone's pet, basically, just doing stuff for them. And I just didn't realize it. I thought everything was completely fine, but it wasn't. But there was also another individual in a classroom session who befriended me, and I thought this guy was such a good guy. And then when I was at the library, he asked me for some help, and I did offer him some help with this coursework. And then he quickly said to me in a quiet voice, "Could you just do all of it for me?" And I felt too guilty to say no, so I just did all his work for him like an idiot, I was just so miserable that day. I spent hours doing his work and I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought I was his friend, yada, yada, yada. But those are experiences that made me stronger, because now what I do is, if I ever do a favor for someone and then I ask them for a favor back again, not even something too big, then I'll just cut them off completely, because they're not a true friend, you know? They wouldn't take the time from their day to help me out. So yeah, and I think it was very much like this in high school when I was always helping people with their homework. People always saw me as one of the most smartest individuals and always asked for help with their homework, and I just felt too guilty to say no, so I just did it for them. They said thank you to me. I thought I was rewarded. I thought I was such a good guy, a good Samaritan, good things will happen to me, but I just got rid of the mindset. That's how all of this started off in the first place, me always doing people's homework for them in high school, not even for any money. They offered me money and I still said no, like their pet, and I just did it for them anyways. But yeah, and during university too, when I cut the friends off, when I just got rid of them, ghosted them, and I was much happier after that, my mental health got better. Also during that time period, I really desperately wanted a girlfriend. So there was this one girl who I really liked, I was approaching all the time, but she didn't like me back. She never said anything for a long time. She could have just said it straight to my face, because I was all new to this approaching stuff and I just couldn't tell if a girl didn't like you or didn't want to speak to you. So when she told me to not, she doesn't want to speak to me anymore, that made me really depressed too. I felt completely like I was at the lowest point of my life. I had no friends, I had no girls that were interested in me. They all found me ugly. Coursework was going good, obviously, because I'm smart, I can get that done easily. But yeah, I was just completely lonely in my life. I do have other friends, childhood friends who I really care about, and they've been good to me, but just those experiences made me really depressed. Just fake friends in general. And another friend who you could say was my neighbor, because he lived 5 minutes away, it started off with me buying him small things, and then he just kept asking over and over again, and I did that for a long time. I probably spent around $200 to $300 on him, and not once did he ever say thank you to me, give me a gift back. Never offered, he'd always have money or change. He never offered to give it to me or buy me anything, and that made me really depressed too, because he was just using me whenever he needed anything or money, when he already had brothers and a mother himself that could have given him his money. So I was taken advantage of really badly. I was going broke every single day. I mean, I still do have money, but that experience just broke me completely, because I really thought I'd have lots of friends that cared about me, but my whole life I've always had friends that mainly just used me whenever they needed something. Money, help with coursework, homework. Like, no one actually saw me as a person, wanted to get to know me. They just saw me as an object which they could use over and over again and there'll be no consequences. So that's what mainly happened for a long time. And the main thing I learned from this is just make new friends, look at how they behave, analyze it. If they're the type of person to bully someone, or if they're the type of person to take advantage of you, if they ask you to buy them things, if they constantly ask you for help with coursework and things like that, and they're not doing anything for you, then just get them out of your life. You don't even have to explain it to them, because they know exactly what they're doing. They're just going to pretend to be sorry through text, face to face, blah, blah, blah. They'll pretend to help you once and never help you ever again. So just get rid of toxic people in your life, because it's actually going to destroy your mental health. I felt like taking my own life seriously. Like, it just ruined me, and I don't want anyone else feeling sad like that. So please make sure you make the right friends. Don't let anyone ever take advantage of you, because it's the most awful experience ever. And if you have good friends around your life who do favors for you, you do favors for them, you're going to feel much more happier, because those are friends who actually care about you, your mental health, be there for you whenever you need them. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about my experiences today, and if anyone is ever going through the same thing, like being used, being called ugly all the time, has friends that always seen them as an object just to be used, please comment down your experiences below, because I'm very interested and I'll try to reply to all the comments. And to anyone watching, thank you for listening, because you guys mean the world to me, and hopefully I can grow my fan base soon and have people that relate to me as much as possible. I'm not trying to go viral, I'm trying to help you guys, because I'm sure there's people who've been through the same thing. So thank you for watching, guys.